What's going on, guys? ShadowNinja here, and today we're going to be talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, including multiplayer. So recently, Call of Duty dropped Campaign Remastered. To our disappointment, it didn't have multiplayer to it. Now, this is kind of not shocking because we have heard that, Infinity Ward or Activision is remastering Modern Warfare 2's campaign for a future release. Now, we were all imagining, when the hell are we going to get this? We all knew this was a thing ever since Call of Duty 4 Remastered dropped. They were developing Call of Duty 4 Remastered, developing Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. I don't think they're developing Modern Warfare 3 Remastered just yet, but at this point, I want to see the whole trilogy remastered. I think it deserves it because it's certainly my favorite 3 Call of Duties in all of Call of Duty right now. Or, include the recent Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare is the only Call of Duties I like. Let's just say that. So, 2 things I've noticed when this dropped. 47 gigabytes size compared to Call of Duty 4's Remastered 40 gigabytes, which also included multiplayer. And the fact that they shot down the fact that there was no multiplayer being developed, which I mean they were trying to just probably do damage control. They don't want getting people's heights up. They go, we're not doing this. They probably just immediately shoot it down as best as possible. But I've seen nothing on the fact that this has been on the new Call of Duty engine. Zero evidence that this is on the new Call of Duty engine. This is on the old engine. They just remastered up the graphics. I mean, because the engine they got it to a point where it could still push out really significant, phenomenal graphics. The only difference with Modern Warfare is the audio, the detail, the shadows, the lighting. It's a lot more detailed in Modern Warfare, the recent one, than it was with the new engine. Anything that Black Ops 4 can do, anything like that. It just there was a certain peak, and you could just tell the engine. This time around, new engine, and we having a fresh breath of air. Modern Warfare 2, when playing it, I did not feel like I was on a new engine. I could be entirely wrong, but they have not at all come out and said that this is on a new engine. And that is the biggest saving grace to the evidence of Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer remastered coming eventually. Because if it was just on a new engine, 47 gigabytes is completely justifiable. And I see that Modern Warfare 2 Remastered campaign is, that much size. Because if we look at Call of Duty Modern Warfare, it's the new one, size from beginning was 100 gigabytes. Like shit, like that's a lot of stuff, lot of size. So do expect multiplayer eventually. Now, TheGamingRevolution talked about an article, also WCC Tech, ftech.com kind of talked about it, but they mentioned how it's still Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer is still in development and being tested. Insider says a legitimate chance of COD 2020 being delayed. Now, this article is pretty good. It talked about Gaming Revolution stuff. He also made a video about this. So obviously I'll link his channel down below. I'm not gonna just say his name and not link it. I'm not that type of people. He has sources too. So he's been credible as well. So he is someone to see that he knows his shit. He's credible. He's proven himself. Now he writes on Twitter basically, my source is insisting now that Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer is still in development and is still being tested on. So multiplayer, even though it's remastered and we love what Modern Warfare 2 was, you might say, oh, they're ruining it. No. There's a lot of different factors. They need to make sure audio's working. They need to make sure textures aren't broken in terms of, upgrading it, making sure it's performing right. This is still a game, and there still needs to be a lot of optimization done. And on top of that, expect microtransactions, expect new weapons, expect, remastered maps, multiplayer maps, obviously coming back from Modern Warfare 2. Expect a bunch of things, battle passes, and all these different things. They don't make sure that these new guns they bring in the game don't mess up the balance. They do need to work on a certain amount of perks, like one-man army and danger close. I want them to honestly remove those perks. Those perks are very game-breaking. Maybe they want to change how grenade launchers work in this game. I don't know. There's a lot of different things that they do need to shake up a little bit to make sure that this game is balanced, because we need to take the nostalgia glasses off and realize that Modern Warfare 2 was not perfect in terms of balancing and specifically perks and certain weapons. So maybe they want to make a more fresh, balanced experience to us. So that's why it still needs testing, as long as other optimization things they need to make sure that the game isn't broken. So it's fair. It's like, they didn't really online, the campaign, those 2 different things. Developing a campaign and online, 2 separate worlds in itself. They're by no means the same, because you got networking coding and you have all these different things on online networking side. That's just like, it's a lot more to tackle than just a regular campaign. Not shooting down how easy it is to make a campaign. Obviously it's not, but there's differences and they have their own set of problems. So a campaign certainly was easier for them to push out first, and then multiplayer, develop, test, and stuff like that. But in general, last thing, it's only inevitable, only a matter of time before we get our hands on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer remastered, because Call of Duty 4 was a massive success. Infinite Warfare released. We weren't excited for this because it wasn't the game we wanted. We wanted boots on the ground, and Infinity War was too late in development cycle to change up their game last second. So they had their best to do to make it, grounded, but stick to what they were kind of going for the whole time, setting-wise. So it made a game that was I mean, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I never really got to that peak of me loving the game. But Call of Duty 4 Remastered, that was a game I invested a lot of time in, despite me already investing 2 years before. Like, when World at War came out, I still played Call of Duty 4 religiously. I wasn't a fan of World at War that much. I enjoyed zombies, but I didn't enjoy the multiplayer. So when I wanted to play multiplayer, I played Call of Duty 4. It's definitely something when you look back, it's like, it's only inevitable. They did it for Call of Duty 4 Remastered. They're going to do it for Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. That was a multiplayer even more praised than Call of Duty 4. It's only a matter of time. Now, with the fact that they talk about how he mentions how they're insisting that there's a real good chance that COD is going to be delayed. He also replied that I've never seen a global lockdown either. Like, this is true. There's a lot of things in the world going on that change the development cycle. So Call of Duty, 2020 was already looking bad to begin with in terms of releasing, and it was already having its own troubles, and Treyarch had to come in there and provide leadership. It's only inevitable now that we hear that Call of Duty 2020 is going to be delayed. When they'll make that announcement, I'll probably say around E3 time, even though we're not getting E3 this year. Studios are still going to come out and do their press conferences, online live streams, just to make sure that, we see something from them. And they'll probably announce that, hey, we're going to delay Call of Duty 2020, which is going to be, they'll probably give a title announcement. This is Black Ops 5. This is, the Cold War. I don't know what they're going for. And then they're announced, but in return, we're going to be releasing today or, in 2 months, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered entirely with multiplayer. So it's a good way to keep the community happy, enjoying, and keep Call of Duty alive and well. With that being said, that's all I got to say on this one. Let me know what you guys think about the, Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer coming eventually. I mean, come on. The all evidence points there. They're literally just insane if they don't, release it. They have to. They have to release the multiplayer. It's one of the most glorified shooter multiplayers of all time. It makes no sense to leave it in the shelves, never to see the light of day, or at least a future remastered. It's like, come on. And on top of that, what do you guys think about Call of Duty 2020 being possibly delayed? I know I've never seen it. This is something I've actually really wanted. The well-being of developers, make sure that they, are healthy and they're not, extreme crunch as it is. Call of Duty already has a very crunchy development cycle. But on top of that, extreme crunch on top of that. If you guys don't know about crunch, look up game industry crunch, and you're going to see some crazy stories from like Activision games. Recently, BioWare with their Anthem. There's a lot of crazy, unethical stories out there about game industry crunch. So if you guys never, seen any, read it today and that, definitely check it out. But with that being said, hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe out there. Make sure you guys like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more content from me, videos like this, as well as gaming videos from other shooters in the world. With that being said, hope you guys again have a great day. Stay safe. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.